Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC has finally been revealed, after months of anticipation. Although only one image was shared by developer From Software, it is enough to entice players and give them a treat of what is to come in the future expansion. A DLC for Elden Ring has been discussed pretty much since the game's release, and data miners even found cut content in the source code, which could indicate its theme. While a Colosseum DLC was the most betted upon, Elden Ring got a PvP expansion with that data, which left those waiting for a story expansion not knowing what to expect. Now, it has been revealed that Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is in the works, and it is most likely story-based content. The image shared does not reveal much, but for lore-savvy fans, there is a lot to be analyzed. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree DLC's release date. According to Elden Ring's post on the official Twitter profile, the Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is currently in development, but an official release date was not provided. Nonetheless, it is possible to make predictions based on From Software's past endeavors. Bloodborne's DLC, The Old Hunters, was announced mid-September 2015 and was released in late November of that same year. For example, Dark Souls 3 Seconds The Ring City DLC was announced in early January 2017 and was released in late March 2017. Following this trend, Elden Ring's DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, could arrive in early or mid-May 2023, nearly 2 months after its official confirmation as have the expansions for From Software's previous titles. However, it is important to note that Elden Ring is a significantly larger and different game, meaning it could take longer for the content to be ready for global distribution. Additionally, there is a chance that the RPG's marketing is working differently this time around, and that the early announcement came to both stimulate hype and measure player interest. Despite the possibility of speculation, it is unsure exactly when the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC and its changes to Elden Ring will be released. Nonetheless, From Software does not usually take long between a DLC's announcement and its official release, so players can expect it to arrive sometime in 2023. It has been over a year since the vanilla game was launched, so the expansion has probably been in the works for a while now. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree DLC's story in Miquella. It is difficult to discern from the released image exactly when Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is set. Ultimately, it could be either a prequel to the whole adventure the Tarnished have in the Lands Between, a sequel after the kindling of the Erdtree, or a dream. There are two important elements held in the image: what appears to be the Erdtree, or what remains of it, and a golden-haired character riding a spirit steed which may or may not be Torrent. Because of the character's hairstyle, it is somewhat safe to assume that the person in question is none other than Miquella from Elden Ring, also known as Malenia's twin brother. If that is the case, players can potentially see Miquella's efforts in creating the Erdtree to cleanse his sister's rot and allow himself to grow older. This would be prior to his kidnapping by Mohg, Lord of Blood. Opposite to that, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree could bring the character back from his long slumber after the main events of the game, which some theorize he himself orchestrated. This would, inevitably, be post-game content. Nonetheless, neither of these options are the most likely to be true. What is, actually, most likely to occur is to see the Tarnished dragged into Miquella's dream in Elden Ring's DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. This would open up the possibility to access the expansion sometime around the middle of the campaign rather than in the post-game, and it would be a more straightforward complement to the story. The base game never actually introduces Miquella in person, but leaves many hints about his identity and his powers. Aside from not being able to age naturally, Miquella is also able to retain the affection of all of those with whom he interacts, even his captor, Mohg. Most importantly, Miquella has a deep connection to sleeping, and that may be the main theme for the Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Malenia's twin brother is confirmed by Sir Gideon Ofnir to be alive. Miquella's trapped in his egg cocoon during Elden Ring, and is slumbering. Additionally, some of the data found by data miners suggests that he lives on, inside his dream world, which would make even more sense along with the expansion's possible theme. If the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is set inside Miquella's dream, the story that From Software is going to tell in Elden Ring is difficult to pinpoint. Inside his dream, players could witness the events prior to his kidnapping or even be tasked with freeing him from the said dream. There is also the possibility of having to kill him in order to restore some sort of balance to the events taking place in the Lands Between. And any of these could ultimately mean Elden Ring's DLC affects the game's multiple endings, adding a new one to the list. The most likely speculation, however, is that players will navigate Miquella's dream in Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree to discover the Erdtree's true form. Throughout the game, it is suggested that the lustrous tree actually spawned and took the place of another world tree, which could be the true Erdtree. If Miquella is aware of this, his dream could be a way of guiding Tarnished toward the truth and making the player's choice for the ending be based on actual information rather than wild interpretations of the lore scattered throughout Elden Ring's Lands Between. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree DLC's new location. As is the case with most of DLCs for From Software's games, Shadow of the Erdtree will probably take Elden Ring players to a new and different location beyond the extensive map of the lands between. This could be an extension to the map that the Tarnished already know. However, given the likely scenario in which they explore Miquella's dream, it will probably be a more intangible location, such as the Hunter's Nightmare in Bloodborne's The Old Hunters DLC or the Painted World of Ariandel and Dark Souls 3 Seconds Ashes of Ariandel DLC. In case players do explore Miquella's dream, the Elden Ring DLC's setting could be a grand mix of old and new elements from the lands between. With Shadow of the Erdtree, players could explore more of the Tree in Elden Ring and better understand its creation, how it was meant to cleanse Melania from the Scarlet Rot and help Miquella age. Along with that, they could go deeper into the secrets of the Erdtree by exploring its inside or its roots, and more. There are many possibilities From Software can explore with the DLC to further deepen or clarify the lore of Elden Ring. The path the studio chooses to tread is still something of a mystery, but the official confirmation of the expansion along with the first image gives fans a lot to think about. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, in fact, may only be the first DLC planned for the critically acclaimed RPG. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and support my channel.